Here are the top 10 celebrities banned from the 2024 Oscars. First up, we have, of course, Will Smith. Probably the most infamous Oscars moment of the last decade was when Will Smith went up on stage to slap host Chris Rock after he made a joke about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. In 2022, Will received a 10-year ban from the Academy, which means he definitely will not be attending this year's award show. Celebrities had their own opinions on the whole slapping ordeal. Mila Kunis told C Magazine in 2022 that she was stunned that so many people in the audience at the 2022 Academy Awards stood up when he won his Oscar after he already slapped Chris. Not standing up to me was a no-brainer, but what was shocking to me was how many people did stand up, she said. I thought, wow, what a time we're living in, that rather than do what's right, people focus on doing what looks good. It's insane to me. Jada Pinkett Smith, who has been married to Will for nearly 25 years, finally broke her silence on the altercation in June 2022 on an episode of her Facebook Watch series Red Table Talk. My deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have an opportunity to heal, talk this out, and reconcile, the Scream 2 star said at the time. The state of the world today, we need them both, and we all actually need one another more than ever. She also noted that she has Will's back in the aftermath of the scandal, adding, until then, Will and I are continuing to do what we have done for the last 28 years, and that is to keep figuring out this thing called life together. Our next Oscars banned celebrity is the late actor Carmine Caridi. He is best known for small parts in the last two films in the Godfather trilogy and was handed a lifetime ban in 2004 for illegally circulating VHS copies of that year's Contenders that he had been sent as an Academy voter. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Caridi opened up about the situation, admitting that he got busted because he made the mistake of lending out his tapes, something he claims, quote, everybody did. A guy from the Academy called and says, Carmine, did somebody steal your screeners? Because they found them on the internet, Caridi recalled. Then they called somebody and said, hey, what did you do? I'm in trouble here. While the case was investigated by the FBI and Caridi was hit with a copyright infringement lawsuit by Sony and Warner Brothers, he was eventually cleared of all his wrongdoings. The Academy wasn't so forgiving and maintained that he had violated his agreement to safeguard their screeners. Next up, we have Bill Cosby. A month after Bill was convicted of in 2018, the Academy issued a permanent ban against him. Shortly after, Bill Cosby, who was once regarded as America's dad for his role in the sitcom The Cosby Show, was convicted in the case with ex-basketball player Andrea Constand in 2018. The Academy announced their decision to ban him in accordance with its newly reviewed standards of conduct. In an official statement, the Academy said, quote, the board continues to encourage ethical standards that require members to uphold the Academy's values of respect for human dignity. Cosby, who served 3 years in prison before having his conviction overturned, never publicly reacted to the Academy's decision. The 85-year-old comedian is now facing more charges after 5 women filed another lawsuit against him in December 2022. Richard Gere is another famous actor who participated in a controversial Oscars incident, one which led to the Academy's decision to ban him from the entire awards. Back in 1993, Richard used his platform while presenting an award to criticize the Chinese government. His decision to not follow the script did not sit well with the Academy, who banned the famous actor for as many as 2 decades for changing his speech. Studios are interested in the possibility of making huge profits, he told GQ, but I'm still making the same films that I was making when I started. Small, interesting, character-driven, and narrative-driven stories. It has not impacted my life at all. Richard returned to the Oscars in 2013 when he joked by telling Huffington Post that apparently, I've been rehabilitated. It seems if you stay around long enough, they forget that they have banned you. Taylor Swift will likely not be attending this year's Oscars despite being asked to join the Academy last year, alongside fellow singer The Weeknd. Taylor has an Eras Tour performance in Singapore on March 9th, the day before this year's Academy Awards. And that would be a very long flight, tight and quick turnaround to make it in time. Recent Taylor Swift news includes an NFL player alleging she got enemy Kanye West kicked out of the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago. During the 2024 Super Bowl, Taylor Swift appeared on TV more than some of the players as the cameras kept cutting to her in her suite, filled with friends and the family of her boyfriend Travis Kelce, who was playing on the field. Plenty of other celebs were in attendance as well, including her rival Kanye West. According to a famous football player, the pop and country singer may have requested that the hip-hop musician be removed from the game entirely. One-time NFL player Brandon Marshall stated in his podcast Paper Route that Taylor may have been the reason that Kanye left the Super Bowl. Marshall tells an odd story on the latest episode of his series, one which even his co-host had not heard, explaining what happened between the two stars according to him, that is. So Kanye West pulls up to the Super Bowl. Kanye West buys a ticket right in front of Taylor Swift's booth, Marshall said on Paper Route. He also said that the rapper may have done so to make sure that anytime they were going to be showing Taylor on camera, Kanye's face was going to be there instead. Marshall went on to explain that Kanye had a mask on, which he called typical Kanye. The former football player then guessed that based on West's appearance, Taylor Swift gets angry. He then added, without seemingly any confirmation that the Grammy winner makes a call or two, everyone's involved, before adding that Kanye then gets kicked out of the stadium after her call. Now back to the Oscars. Jennifer Lawrence has been banned from the Oscars for her 2013 tripping on her dress moment. Just kidding, but it was incredibly embarrassing. When accepting her Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook, she tripped over her dress on the stage stairs on the way up to collect her award. In typical Jennifer Lawrence style, she laughed about it all before falling over on the red carpet the next year. In an interview with W Magazine, she says, I was at the Oscars waiting to hear if my name was called, and I kept thinking, cakewalk, cakewalk, cakewalk. I thought, why is cakewalk stuck in my head? And then as I started to walk up the stairs and the fabric from my dress tucked under my feet, I realized my stylist had told me cakewalk, cakewalk, cakewalk. You're supposed to kick the dress out while you walk, and I totally forgot because I was thinking about cake, and that is why I fell. Another Oscars moment that raised concern was when the wrong movie was named Best Picture. When Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty announced the winner for Best Picture, they mistakenly said it was La La Land. But it was in fact Moonlight that had won. In a supremely cringe-inducing moment, Beatty was pushed aside as the correct slip of paper was brandished at the cameras desperately. It turns out Beatty had been given the Best Actress envelope instead of the Best Picture envelope, and Emma Stone won for La La Land. Hence the awkward mix-up. When Angelina Jolie won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 2000 for her role in Girl Interrupted, she caught the attention of viewers around the world when she kissed her brother. That's right, her biological brother, on the lips. Angelina's mom, Marshalene's close friend, who helped take care of the actress as a child, has opened up about the whole event, claiming it was nothing more than sisterly love. The day she kissed Jamie at the Oscars, she says it was the first day that their mom was treated for cancer. They left the hospital together and got ready together, she told Radar Online. No one in the world knew that they spent the day in the hospital. It was like, look where we are at now. But the world saw something in it was meant to be, here we are. They only ever had each other. They had a very tight relationship with each other and their mother, she says. Our next awkward Oscars moment includes John Travolta. When announcing Idina Menzel to the stage, Travolta called her Adele Dazeem. John Travolta explained to Jimmy Kimmel what had caused the awkward gaffe, saying that he was shoved on stage 15 minutes early and the assistant told him at the last second that Idina's name had been changed to the phonetic spelling on the card. When John got on stage to announce, he had not been able to rehearse and stared at the card thinking, what is this name? I don't know this name. Luckily, Idina found it hilarious and even introduced John as Glom Gazingo at the Oscars the following year as a joke. Lastly, we have Rob Lowe. In 1989, perhaps the strangest Oscars moment occurred when an actress playing Snow White performed randomly on stage. The entire 11-minute performance shows Disney princess Snow White attending the Oscars and was incredibly weird for people to watch. What was even weirder was when actor Rob Lowe appeared on stage to sing a duet with the princess. Rob opened up to the New York Times about the whole debacle in 1992, saying, "Look, the Academy asked me to take that role, so I was a good soldier and I did it. You can't be your own manager and agent and soothsayer. You have to take risks." And on that one, I got shot in the foot.
So starting off our list today at number 10, we have Rachel Zegler. Sometimes it's probably better to stay quiet about certain issues, and that was definitely the case when it comes to Rachel Zegler. So if you don't recall, just before last year's ceremony, Rachel would find herself not being invited to the show, and in the process she went on to shade the Academy for it. Eventually the Academy wanted to make things right, so they asked her to join presenter Jacob Elordi on the stage. However, once she got on the stage, she decided to shade the Academy once more by saying dreams do come true really fast. Her comment was definitely a reference to her post that she made just a week before the show when she responded to a fan who said, "Can't wait to see what you'll be wearing to the Oscars." Rachel then responded by saying, "I'm not invited, so sweatpants and my boyfriend's flannel." After an outcry spread across social media, the actor would explain that she tried every method possible to score a ticket, but she was unsuccessful. Well, at least she did make it to the show, but that will probably be the last show she can attend for a while. Number 9, Chris Rock. You know, Chris Rock probably should have scored himself a ticket to this year's Oscar ceremony if he just did one thing: be a better man and let everything in the past remain in the past. After a year of remaining silent about the incident that occurred in 2022, he has finally opened up about the incident, and I'm going to be honest, his comments should have come right away. Coming a complete year after the incident occurred is uncalled for and just a little bit childish, especially since he's chosen to take the high road for so long, and now everything just seems a little too calculated and not right. And if the Oscars wants to eliminate any drama from this year's show, they should be asking Chris Rock not to attend. In preparation for Chris Rock's upcoming special on Netflix, the comedian is set to talk about the incident that dominated much of the headlines last year. According to Wall Street Journal, the comedian's references how much it hurt, and he also pokes fun at Will Smith when he quipped, even in animated movies, "I'm a zebra and he's an effing shark." But to make fun of the incident isn't really funny, and Will had to even go through therapy, so this just isn't okay, and Chris should honestly just do better. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8, Russell Crowe. Even though Russell Crowe is an Oscar-winning actor, director, and musician, we probably won't be seeing him at this year's Grammys ceremony. And it's not really surprising, as Russell's temper has made more than a few headlines over the years, and since nobody really knows if the actor can truly behave himself, as the actor's temper has landed him in hot water, he ended up getting a felony charge for it. So Russell's temper has had a reputation for years, as he has a tendency to take things a little too far, and his reputation has now earned him a reputation as an actor who is difficult to work with. So back in 2004, Russell's behavior would completely be out of hand after he got riled up in a hotel lobby, and he ended up injuring a clerk behind the lobby desk. Then in 2016, Azealia Banks even filed a police report accusing Russell's violence to be excessive, as he once spit on her. And back in 2002, he even shoved Malcolm Gere against a wall and cursed him out because of his acceptance speech being cut too short. So why would the Academy risk inviting someone who could cause another Chris Rock and Will Smith altercation? Number 7, Ben Affleck. Well, it's definitely not the Academy banning Ben Affleck from the ceremony this year, but it's most likely Jennifer Lopez trying to protect her husband from any more gloomy memes. As let's not forget, when we all sat down to watch the Grammys a couple weeks ago, Ben was captured a couple times on camera looking miserable. And then when we thought it couldn't get any worse, we then all saw JLo snap at her husband out of nowhere. But honestly, the whole show just looked like Ben was dragged to a work thing with his wife, and he truly had no interest in attending the event whatsoever. Now, with the Oscars just around the corner, JLo definitely doesn't want any more people questioning her and Ben's relationship. So she's probably gonna make sure Ben stays at home and watches the ceremony in his sweatpants for this moment, as the star just appears sad and JLo is done with the misinterpretation. Number 6, Sean Penn. When Sean Penn decided to get a little political last year at the Grammys, it kind kinda has him in a hot seat as he promised to boycott the Academy if the Ukrainian president wasn't part of the show's program. But this hasn't been the actor's first controversial moment, as back in 2022 he doubled down on his comments that made fun of feminine men. When he sat down in an interview with The Independent, he would tell the newspaper, "I am in the club that believes that men in American culture have been widely feminized. I don't think that being a brute or having insensitivity or disrespect for women is anything to do with masculinity, or ever did. But I don't think in order to be fair to women, we should become them." When Sean was then asked to clarify his comments, he would then say, "I think men have, in my view, become quite feminized. I have these strong women in my life who do not take masculinity as a sign of oppression towards them. And with how the world is changing, the Academy just shouldn't allow people who don't adapt to change and accept others for who they are." Number 5. Morgan Freeman. In 2018, it would be brought to light that a young production assistant thought she had landed the job of her dreams when in the summer of 2015, she started working on Going in Style, a bank heist comedy starring Morgan Freeman. But the job then quickly developed into several months of harassment. She then later told CNN that Morgan subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothes on a near daily basis. She also claimed that Morgan constantly would rest his hands on her lower back or rub her lower back, and in one incident he even tried to pull up her skirt. And it said that Morgan's inappropriate behavior was not limited to that one movie set, because according to sources who spoke with CNN, a woman who was a senior member of the production staff of the movie Now You See Me in 2012 claimed that her and her female assistant on numerous occasions were approached by Morgan, who solicited comments about their bodies. And considering what happened last year, the Academy definitely wants a show that's quiet and no one really talks about, so we probably won't be seeing Morgan Freeman there this year. Number 4. Ricky Gervais. It's clear that Ricky Gervais will never be a host for the Oscars, as he's too much of a risk, even with the comedian himself revealing that he would never host the esteemed film award show because he wouldn't be allowed to do what he wanted. Now, Ricky has hosted the Golden Globes 5 times now, but he knows the rules would be very different for the Oscars, and he's just not interested in doing so, as he knows he would find himself being cancelled halfway through the show like other celebrities have. He continued to go on to say, "They never let me do what I wanted. That's why the Globes got me. They said I can write my own jokes, say what I want, no rehearsal. The Oscars would never. And if the Oscars said that, then I'd do it, but that would never happen. But they certainly let Chris Rock do it, so honestly it's probably best for Ricky to stay away from the mic and the show, as he might get a little controversial if he was invited." Number 3. Chris Brown. Back in 2022, Chris Brown would reveal the reason behind him not attending any award shows anytime soon, and that's because the Academy has banned him from being in attendance to any type of show going forward. The R&B superstar revealed that he's been banned from award shows, and he even made a revelation about it while he was sharing a video to his Instagram from one of his concerts in New Mexico, saying that he would have quit the industry a long time ago if it wasn't for his fans. But do you even have a lot of fans left to begin with? Despite his ability to sell out concerts not in Canada or America, may I add, not only will the Academy not let him attend the ceremony, but he is also not allowed to perform due to his violent behavior. Let's face it, he only got a Grammy nomination this year, not because his album was popping off, it was because the Grammys didn't want to deal with his wild outbursts from the star if he didn't receive a nomination in the first place, because the world still isn't over what he did to Rihanna and the other woman following. Number 2. Quentin Tarantino. When news broke that Quentin Tarantino convinced Uma Thurman into driving an unsafe car during the filming of Kill Bill, which resulted in a crash, the director would soon call it the biggest regret of his life. Soon after, reports soon started to come saying not only that, but that he also spat on Thurman during filming, and he even had a pretty physical altercation with her, and it said he also did the same thing to Diane Kruger in a scene in Inglourious Basterds. And with it, many people started to question whether it was time to cancel Quentin Tarantino or just not include him in the Oscars. Even with his film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood being very controversial, it provoked considerable unease as it would take on the gruesome subject following the passing of Sharon Tate, among others who fell into the hands of the Manson family. His interest in violence against women is just so strange and unusual, and by celebrating it, it would just be wrong. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Seth MacFarlane. If you watched the Oscars back in 2013, then you know the whole night was just a total call off. Now, to have Seth MacFarlane host the Oscars, it was pretty shocking to begin with due to his animated show being pretty controversial. The Academy should have known that the night would have been pretty controversial to begin with. But with saying that, I don't think any of us saw the show being turned into complete misogyny after Seth decided he was going to prove that he could sing in his opening number. But with it, he did it in such a controversial way, as the comedian went on to showcase the most misogynistic song in history that he called "We Saw Your Chest," which named actresses who have stripped down for on-screen roles, mentioning every female from Meryl Streep to Naomi Watts. He also went on to enlist an entire choir of men to join in the rousing chorus. And if you caught the show, then you know Charlize Theron's face said it all when the cameras panned over to her and you could see her unimpressed face as she hid with her hand. To make matters even worse, he made jokes about women getting sick so they could get into shape for the awards show, as well as making Chris Brown and Rihanna jokes, which just wasn't cool, let's face it. Coming at number 10, we have Will Smith. So last year, actor Will Smith was issued a 10-year ban by the Film Academy after he disrupted the recent 94th Oscars by slapping presenter Chris Rock on the stage. The ban prohibits Smith from attending all Academy-related events, both virtual and in person, for a period of 10 years. It doesn't, however, make him ineligible for nominations at the Oscars. Smith had taken offense to a joke Chris made about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and he then walked up on the stage and in a shocking moment hit the comedian across the face. Less than an hour later, Will would then win the Oscar for Best Actor, and in his speech he would apologize for his fellow nominees in the Academy. A day later, he issued a public apology to Rock, and sometime after that, he announced his resignation from the Academy. The Academy would then come out with a statement and said the 94th Oscars was meant to be a celebration of many individuals in our community who did incredible work this past year. However, those moments were overshadowed by the unacceptable and harmful behavior we saw Mr. Smith exhibit on stage. The actor then went on to accept the decision, which means he will no longer be able to attend this year's ceremony as a presenter, as in the tradition of the Oscars. While the decision to expel a member isn't unheard of before it happened to Smith, there have actually been a handful of members expelled by the Academy. Coming at number 9, we have Paris Hilton. While Paris Hilton tends to be in attendance at almost every party, fashion show, and awards, even Paris Hilton reportedly was banned from attending the Oscars since 2008. And when the socialite first heard of the news, she surely wasn't happy about it, and she was actually devastated that she couldn't attend the prestigious award event. With a source claiming that Paris cried a lot when she found out she was banned from the Oscars, it would also be noticed that Paris was desperate to be taken seriously as an actress, and she hoped she would be able to network with the film bods. Word on the block is Paris even spent $2 million on a dress for the ceremony back in 2008 before she heard about her ban, which left her feeling so embarrassed to attend the Oscars after show parties, and even considering going in disguise due to her ban. She was even tempted to go to the parties afterwards but wear her trademark wig to save her dignity. Said that Paris would even find herself being snubbed from the event in a bid to prevent the event from turning into a down market scrum. Hi my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Miley Cyrus. Have you ever noticed that Miley Cyrus has been pretty much missing from all the award shows lately? Well, back in 2020, Miley would post a clip of herself from the 2013 MTV EMAs, where she would be shown taking out a pre-roll from her black Chanel clutch and lighting it up on stage in the middle of her presenting duties. While sporting a bodysuit and a furry coat, she then oozed an effort amount of cool when she did the unthinkable during the show. With Miley taking a clip and posting it, she would caption the clip by saying, "Wonder why I'm not invited to award shows anymore." While the star hasn't chosen to elaborate on the video, it certainly isn't really clear if she was joking or not, but it has been some time that we've seen Miley hitting up the award shows. And it looked like her celebrity friends, like designer Alexander Wang, found the dig humorous enough. He even told the wild child to never change. Even Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Lisa would chime in to let Miley know if she ever had an award show, she would have the singer there. Whether it's true or not, we love a good Miley presenting the celebrations, as she always comes comes out to slay. Number 7, Kevin Spacey. After allegations made by more than 30 different individuals that Kevin Spacey had made 30 unwanted advances towards younger men, in 2017 BuzzFeed would publish allegations made by Anthony Rapp that said Kevin had made some unwanted advances towards Rapp when he was only 14. And since, more than 30 people have come forward with their own allegations against Spacey, with accounts ranging from a number of different allegations. Bringing the lawsuit to light would stand as part of a larger movement to stand up against all forms of violence. Rapp claimed that Spacey climbed on top of him at a party in New York City when he was younger. Kevin would then gladly deny Rapp's allegations, and his lawyers would create this story, in which in a large part of the made-up story would claim that Anthony was jealous of Spacey's career in the entertainment industry. And then, when more allegations started to come forward, Kevin would finally admit to his actions, but said it was okay because he was gay. Since the allegations have come forward, Kevin is now blacklisted from Hollywood, and he will no longer be allowed to attend any award shows anytime soon. Number 6, Adam Kimmel. Cinematographer Adam Kimmel is known for his work on Lars in The Real Girl. However, in 2021, Adam would find himself being expelled from the Academy following the emergence of his history after allegations came forward about his misconduct with women. Adam had been arrested twice. Both times, the allegations involved a younger female. In 2003, when he was 43 years old, he would plead guilty to making unwanted advances to a girl in New York who was around 15 and 16 years old. In 2010, Kimmel would be arrested again in Connecticut for 4th degree of unwanted advancements involving a younger person and failure to register as a SO. Due to the crimes and the hurt he inflicted on a handful of younger women, the Academy saw fit to expel Adam from the Academy and permanently place a ban on him from attending any Academy Awards. While the Academy strives on protecting the safety of their performers and guests, they couldn't guarantee that Adam wouldn't be a threat to any female in the audience, and they couldn't justify his actions and decided that he should be banned from attending the ceremonies going forward. But the fact that his crimes happened between 2003 and 2010 and the Academy still allowed him to attend the ceremonies until 2021 is actually pretty messed up. Number 5, Kevin Hart. After an old controversy from 2018 continued to dominate the headlines in 2019 after he was announced as being the host for the 2019 Academy Awards, comedian Kevin Hart publicly stepped down from his gig when a series of old homophobic tweets resurfaced. Kevin's anti-gay ideology wasn't exactly a secret before, as he devoted part of his 2010 stand-up special to describe his terror that his son would turn out to be gay and his intention to prevent it however he could. And after that year, you think Hollywood might have done some Twitter search before naming its host. In Kevin's response just hours before stepping down, he would not apologize, and he would say in a video, "Guys, I'm almost 40 years old. If you don't believe that people change, grow, evolve as they get older, I don't know what to tell you. I want to hold people in a position where they always have to justify or explain the past. Then you do. I'm the wrong guy, man. I'm in a great place, a great mature place, where all I do is spread positivity." 6 hours later though, he would reconsider and he would finally step down from his hosting gig, and then he would make a formal apology to the LGBTQ community, and you probably won't see him attending any award shows anytime soon. Number 4, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is another woman banned from the Oscars like Paris Hilton in an attempt for the award ceremony to keep things more classy. Except everything about Pamela Anderson is actually pretty classy except for her R-rated tape. Sources would confirm that Pamela would be banned from attending the ceremony so the Academy officials could prevent the evening from turning into a downmarket scrum. The inside source would also continue to say that the Academy plans to focus more on those people who have worked in the film industry for years, not people who were merely celebrities in other areas. But Pamela has been in the industry since 1991, when she landed her most major acting gig on Baywatch and gave us the iconic red bathing suit look. So to say that she couldn't be at the Oscars because she wasn't in the film industry for years would just be absurd. But then other sources would come forward to say the decision to ban certain stars is down to the fact that Hollywood's Kodak Theater holds less than half the capacity of the previous venue, and even high-profile stars are struggling to secure tickets to the event. But if that's the real case, why would the Academy even think it was a good idea to downgrade their venue to one of the biggest award shows of the year? Number 3, Carmine Caridi. The Godfather star Carmine Caridi was banned from the Oscars after he was summoned by the FBI. While Carmine's strength as an actor got him steady work for many years, eventually earning him his membership in the Academy. As a member, he was actually pretty inappropriate to viewers. Eventually, trouble would come to town when Russell Prague visited Chicago and was introduced to Carmine by another member of the Godfather Part 3 cast. When Carmine mentioned that he was able to watch screeners for the latest film, Russell was somehow able to talk him into sharing these screeners with him. As part of Carmine's agreement with the Academy, this was not allowed. Even so, Carmine decided to still go along with it as he wanted to share his privileged position with a friend. This would work out well for time, but things quickly began to spiral out of control when the FBI got involved. Rather than a harmless movie fan Carmine thought Russell was, he actually turned out to be one of the most notorious film pirates in the country. Instead of watching the movies, he would copy them and distribute them to the internet. With both men being taken in by the FBI, Carmine would find himself being sued by Columbia Pictures and Warner Brothers, and he would become the first person ever banned from the Academy. Number 2, Roman Polanski. Movie director Roman Polanski would end up being expelled from the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences over charges of unwanted advances on younger women. Back in August of 2020, Roman would lose a court bid to be reinstated as a member. Roman, who won an Oscar in 2003, would be banned by the Academy in May 2018 because of a long-standing criminal case which dates all the way back to 1977. The director then argued in a civil lawsuit he was denied by the Academy when it decided to expel him under a code of conduct drawn up in response to his unwanted advancement misconduct allegations against dozens in the entertainment industry. The Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Mary H. Strobel wrote in a ruling that Polanski was given the opportunity to present any evidence he deemed relevant to the Academy, including a lengthy brief from his attorney and a video statement. While Roman has continued to deny his misconduct, he did win an Oscar in 2003 for The Pianist. But I think we were all pleased when the court confirmed that the Academy's procedure to ban him from the awards ceremony was both fair and reasonable. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Britney Spears. Britney Spears has found herself being barred from the Oscars since 2005, and since she's even been banned from attending all the celebrity-filled pre-Oscar parties. While Britney has been desperate to dress up and snare an invite to one of several glitzy bashes that are happening across LA, she's been met with a stony and embarrassing silence from the organizers. Britney is definitely still a big name in Hollywood, and a lot of people in town know her for all the wrong reasons. While the Oscars has chosen to snub her from pretty much anything, they claim it's because she's a car crash waiting to happen, and organizers don't want to take the risk of her showing up and creating a scene. With every celebrity battling to secure the most high-profile guest, Britney is being seen as a gamble no one wants to take, with one source saying her presence at any party would instantly generate lots of publicity, but while it's tempting to send out an invite, it's a hassle they don't really want. There's also still been a mounting concern among fellow A-listers of Britney's mental health, and they feel like the parties would still be too much for Britney, and her fragile state might just tip her over the edge if she was to attend. While Britney was definitely devastated over the snubs, she definitely has a lot to look forward to as she's back in the studio creating some major bangers.